lot of people thinking this is just a kind of like a slogan that we talk, but actually we deeply believe in it, because on that vision we say, so our blog is trying to build something that we want to encourage everybody to build together with us, right? So it's not something belongs to us. We're just a Kickstarter. We just want to kick this. We just want to sure that, hey, this is going to work, and let's work this together. So that if everything going perfectly, I wish in 5 years this vision become a reality.
Perfect. So, and about that, in 5 years, I saw that recently you were releasing something on the NFT Factory. Can you tell us a little bit more about that functionality and who you plan to target with that, and what it'll do, how it'll make things easier?
Okay. So first of all, we just have a post to explain the NFT Factory, and but that is not something new. That is something that we developed since year 2019. So the NFT Factory, from its name, is a factory, right? So that is one of the mindset in when we develop the digital asset on the blockchain and the non-fungible tokens. We take this differently. We take a different approach than Ethereum, right? So on Ethereum, if you create a new NFT, you create a new smart contract. You create a new ERC-721 or ERC-1155 contract. Right? Each of those contracts have an interface that is confront with ERC-721, but it's a new contract. And that's actually the reason why there's a lot of bad actors in those smart contracts. They create a smart contract which is doing something bad, right? It could be bugs because the developer didn't, make some mistakes in the code, or it could be from a bad actor. They actually creating something that is fake, that is intentional to do something bad, right? So that's by design in Ethereum smart contract, because each of the smart contract is just a new piece of code. There's no common ground there. The only common ground is the interface. So on ArcBlock, we take this, we try to solve this problem differently. We take this kind of idea from pattern in computer science called design patterns. So patterns. Yeah. So there's an important pattern called a factory method, right? So factory pattern. So the factory pattern, essentially you can imagine, like in a molding industry, you have this factory. Everything is so standard, right? And so the factory can produce a lot of stuff. All of those stuff are confront some kind of very strict standard, and it has very strict standards, strict quality controls. And then when the factory make all of those, they're supposed to be exactly same at a certain level of the security, safety, while they are unique, right? So the NFT Factory is based on a protocol that we create called ABBA protocol. ABBA. This is my favorite band, by the way. It's called ArcBlock Simple Basic Asset Protocol. So that protocol is basically in the blockchain, we try to have this factory method for any of those tokens, no matter they are fungible tokens or non-fungible tokens. It doesn't make sense. You have to kind of rewrite all those interfaces by yourself. Instead, you can have a factory method to ensure all of those kind of fundamental features are exactly the same, secured by the blockchain itself. And for example, right, so this is a little bit technical, right? For example, on Ethereum, if you want to transfer an NFT, right, so you have to re-implement the transfer function. That function has the same signature of that protocol, like ERC-721, right? But what exactly happening for those transfer are very much different, right? So this give the good side for this is give the developer a great flexibility. You can define you can do whatever you want to do, anything that creative when you do that transfer, right? But in the reality, since it's named transfer, right? So it means that in the society, we know what transfer means. You know that I'm going to transfer this to you means I need to give to you security. I no longer be able to double spend it, right? I no longer be able to fakely say I transfer that to you, but actually it's not a transfer. Is actually not transfer things to you. So in ArcBlock approach, we think, okay, this is a factory method, right? So all of those kind of standard method, they need to be exactly the same, exactly secured. But on top of that, you can do something interesting. We call that callbacks or hooks, right? Once after the transfer, before the transfer, you can enforce a few things. During the transfer, you can do a few things. After transfer, you can do a few things. But the transfer itself can never be changed, right? It's very rock solid, right? So we call this, so the NFT factory is basically we define a few things for non-fungible tokens. Like, is it transferable? Is it can this be, is this immutable? And does this has a special metadata that need to be verifiable, right? So all of those are standardized. But on top of that, developers can have many creative ways to turn that into different things. For example, the ArcBlock NFT can be used as a ticket, right? At the concert ticket or ticket to the events. It can be used as certificates, right? It can use as a passport, right? It can also use it as a digital, as a digital kind of access management key for the system. So any developer who are already familiar with ArcBlock, you are actually touching with this kind of a NFT every day. And so the most common use that we use is for the access, right? So when you have a computer, I want to access it. Today, most of the common thing is a username, password. But in the ArcBlock, you're going to issue you NFT. So whenever you want to access this resource, you're going to need to present this NFT, right? So that have a lot of interesting values that can be enabled, right? Imagine, for example, today, if I want to have imagine, right? So I'm building I'm having a server from AWS, right? And then eventually I want to install something, and then I give this server to you for you to use, right? And so the problem for today, so the only way I can do that is I just give you the username and password, right? And then you have to manage that server. But there's a lot of problem over there. What if I have this? What if I have a copy of the username password? What if I also have the access to that, right? Someday, when you try to do it, you find somebody else, have the access, and also because right now the cloud computing is all under my account, right? If for some reason Amazon suspended my account, your server is actually on my account. Your server could get shut down, right? But with the NFT, so with our new design of those NFT, when I give you a server, it's as simple as I transfer an NFT to you, right? So once you receive this NFT of that server, represent that server, you automatically get access to that server. And also, because it's an NFT, it's transferred to you. I do not have any copies, right? It's to you, it's yours. And when you need to prove that you have the resource of that server, the only evidence and only proof you need to present is that NFT, right? So this kind of enabled a lot of interesting scenarios that you cannot do that before. Yeah, I can talk this on and on for a few days. And there's a lot of we actually build a lot of interesting stuff here.
Yes, and that's like a high level design pattern conversation that we're having here when we talk about factory patterns, guys. If you're familiar with like C++ and stuff like that, I'm actually surprised that Ethereum doesn't do it that way. That would be the most reusable way to do it. So that's pretty cool that ArcBlock's doing it that way. And also it seems like there's a bit of template splitting where it's like it doesn't matter what type it is. We're just going to take whatever type and make multiple copies of it. So yeah, definitely a masterclass in that. I'll probably have to break that down for you guys in another video because I have to think of a way to make it like non-coder speak for you guys. But very, very, very cool. That's awesome. So I also like the whole thing that you talked about of NFT ticketing. That there's so much that could go into that as far as like, okay, now providing to the user, now that they have that NFT, so much more utility because that NFT now has them more access to like maybe a backstage show or a discount. There's so many different things where you can go there. That's very, very cool. And I'm sure you guys have probably already explored those use cases with people. That's really awesome to see. So that would be kind of one of your main use cases for the NFT Factory, is to issue like NFT tickets. Are there any others that you can let us in on if you can?
Yeah, so for the NFT Factory, is just imagine this is a factory for the developers to mint any kind of NFT. Rock is solid, and then the developers only need to focus on what the NFT looks like, what is the feature the NFT can enable, and they don't need to worry about how to mint it and where to put, how to make that verifiable, and none of that. Right?
So cool. So this is just really just making things dead nut simple. And I can really see, like, for legacy, this would be very, very important for them, because they wouldn't want to have to now fool with trying to get their own blockchain or find developers for a certain blockchain. They just go to ArcBlock and it's easy now.
Yes. So I want to add a little bit, few more things. So for the ArcBlock NFT with the NFT Factory is also built upon the decentralized identity and the verifiable credentials, right? So any of the payload inside ArcBlock NFT are verifiable credentials, which means those data are verifiable, right? So right now in the industry of the ERC 721 and the ERC 11555. The biggest challenge is those NFT are not verifiable, because anything on the Ethereum NFT is only can point to external metadata, and those metadata is not verifiable. So I think that's the biggest problem. That basically means that is only usable for you to create a few, JPEG image.